Welcome into Trust the Process Live. We're hot here. We're fired up. We're getting ready to go. Schwarber was robbed. As were we all. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of robbed of some money. I took the Schwarber money. What was he plus? I think he was plus 320 when I got
it all.
Yeah, to win it all. I got it yesterday, something like that. I got robbed, boys, because I literally said it in live time. He got robbed. But the person who got robbed of some money last night is your host here, James Hyden, with my guys.
Sorry.
Josh Safran, what's up, man? How you feel?
Oh, man, I'm not liking the whole not baseball thing. You know what I mean? It's like every day we get I'm a creature of habit, like we all are. And part of that habit is Phil's at 7 o'clock, and I've been getting used to Phil's winning at 7 o'clock. I'm not liking the whole no baseball thing, at least especially for the next 2 days, but I'm hanging in there. How are we doing, fellas?
Max, the man of digits, did you catch how quickly Josh's tone changed from like 2 months, from so far not in to all the way in?
He's in. He's back.
I love it. That's fine. Jump on board. The red train is rolling. The man of many digits, 19 digits, because that's how many home runs Schwarber hit in the first round in his loss to Albert Pujols. Max Coolish, how are you?
What a sad sentence that is. What a sad sentence that is. I'll say this. I could have gone 42. I took Jose Ramirez last night, not Jose Rodriguez, the guy who did good. But I knew for whatever reason I don't think there's ever been a time in my life I can remember the 1 seed winning the All-Star game, winning the home run derby. I feel like every year, maybe it's not a 1-8 upset, but I feel like every year the guy who's the 1 seed doesn't win.
Yeah.
So
do they do the seeds by the amount? I think they do it by amount of home runs.
Number of total home runs.
I heard like most of the time the favorite or the second favorite from a betting perspective wins, but it's the way that the total home run number never really matches up with actual home run derby success.
Yeah. Somebody told Schwarber it was July, unfortunately, instead of June. I could have said the man of 42 digits, which is the years that Albert Pujols has notched into his belt, but I went with 19 anyway. Let's see. You know what? We're going to stick right in here with the All-Star break. Yeah. We're going to get right into baseball topics right now. And we're going to check in on these Phils and the lone representative, Kyle Schwarber, at the All-Star game in Los Angeles and all the proceedings. So we're going to go down the list. We're going to go most valuable player, least valuable player, biggest surprise, and second half hot take. I don't need you to list them all right there. We're just going to go around the horn, MVP, LVP, and so on and so forth. So, Max, I want to start with you. The Philadelphia Phillies most valuable player through the first half of this MLB season.
I mean, the obvious answer here feels like Bryce, but I'm going to make the case for Kyle Schwarber because if he doesn't quite literally single-handedly win the Phillies somewhere between 4 to 6 games, I would say, in the month of June, I think that's probably fair to say, right? Like just for, the timing of his home runs. And, there was a couple of games they won. Who was it, Banners? Maybe it was a Cardinals or National Series. It was a red team where they won, 1-0 and 2-0 back-to-back nights. And I think Schwarber was key in both of those ones. Like just games like that, right? Like that's what pops to mind. I think this Philly season basically boils down to June because April and May were terrible. They were months to forget. They were bang average. And Kyle Schwarber dragged them through the month that has, 51% through the season has accounted for probably 60 to 70% of their wins, or at least, 60 to 70% of the reason why I feel the way I do about these Phillies. So I'm going to say at this point in time, it's got to be Kyle Schwarber, but that really is just due to one incredible 30 to 35 day stretch of work. Not to take anything away from him, but it's not like he was doing this from game 1 until game, whatever, we're at 85 or 86 at the All-Star break.
And Max, real quick, I forgot this because I can't read scripts. It's part of my. I'm only dyslexic when it comes to scripts. So add on to this, and Josh, keep with me. You're going to add on to this on your first answer too. Are they meeting, falling short of, or exceeding your expectations so far through the season? Just real quick, Max.
I think they're right bang on course. I think at the beginning of the year we talked about they'd contend, maybe not the division, but I think we all thought they'd be above 500. Marginally at the All-Star break. At least that's kind of the picture I had in my mind. I would say they're right on par, right on pace for what I expect.
All right. So Josh, we're gonna go around to you. Meeting, falling short of, or exceeding your expectations and your MVP. Let me hear it.
Yeah, Max. I mean, you kind of said it. They are. It's just so weird how we got to this point because they are right on my expectations. Like going into the season, I was like, yes, the Phillies are going to make the playoffs, but that might be because of that third wild card, and that's exactly where we are here at the All-Star break. And it's just it didn't feel that way though. Like Banners, you said at the top, like I'm feeling real good about how this team is, but I feel like it feels like yesterday I was sitting right here. And Max, you threw out the idea where we do the worst Phillies loss of each week, and we were all like, "Yeah, man, that's a fantastic segment because we don't have much to talk about." So
retired before it even took off.
Yeah,
that's the way it should have been.
That's
though.
fine.
Yeah,
people forget that Max is the reason the Phillies have really turned it around. They're giving all the credit to Topper.
Once Max got on, didn't stop.
It's true. But yeah, now they're meeting the expectations just in a weird way. My MVP of this team, and I think we're gonna say you can't take Bryce Harper, like more or less, like he probably is the right answer. But between obvious and injuries, I'm gonna go with Zach Wheeler. And aside from his most recent start, I just think like something that I kept saying until Bryce Harper got injured was through all the ups and the downs this team has been through. You look back at last season, your NL MVP is playing like an NL MVP, and your NL Cy Young candidate is still playing like an NL Cy Young candidate. I would be shocked to see a year in many teams where you have two players who perform that well one season, they come back the next year, and they actually keep it going. And the way this Phillies pitching staff has been, it's crazy that the bullpen has been like as decent as it's been. You need a guy like Wheeler, man. It just feels so good for not only like as like a winning and loss perspective where you're like, oh, we're going to win this game most likely, just as a fan to be like, I get to watch this guy on my team once every 5 days. I can't get enough of Zach Wheeler, man.
So it's a good point right there. And the rumor has it is that Zach Wheeler turned down the invitation to the All-Star game to spend time with the second child, I believe.
Smart
that was that's what the rumor mill is churning out right now. But
it's great planning in advance.
Exactly. So my MVP is going to be, well, first let me say they're exceeding my expectations, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
Because of their record lately against the NL East. Finishing the first half with a sweep, finishing the first half with a sweep against the Marlins tells me something's different. I don't know how high the ceiling can go, but that tells me that the floor is raised. You know what I mean? So that brings me closer. The median is higher than what it would have been had you either taken one game from the Marlins or only taken two. You know what I mean? That was a good 2-game sweep, and you beat up on some of the young. I mean, the Marlins' young arms are good. So it's a Trevor Rogers that last night beating up on Trevor Rogers. Like, that's a good sign. So that's why they're exceeding my expectations. 6 games over 500 right now, 49 and 43, I believe.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I think 49, 43 right now they're sitting at. My MVP is going to be Aaron Nola because this was not expected, boys. This was not expected, boys. We got 2 stoppers in the rotation right now. He is one of the top 5 best strikeout to walk ratios of the past 15 years with guys like Max. I think Max Scherzer's on there twice. Guys like Justin Verlander, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So this is exactly.
Do me a favor, Banner. Save his season stats. Save his season averages for just a couple of minutes.
That's very true. Yeah.
Just for a couple minutes. I got you.
All right. Yeah, I'll spare. Take a step back there. So I'm going to go Nola here with my MVP. Let's pivot and go least valuable player. Coming right back around, Max, your least valuable player.
Oh boy. Does anyone else want to go? Does anyone else want to take one of the 2 that I'm thinking of from me and articulate it better than I would?
Josh?
Max, you've been called upon, man.
I mean, the first one that jumps to head is as much as he's been serviceable on offense, Odubel Herrera's defense has been maybe the most suspect part of the Phillies season. Like most individually suspect.
I'm shocked.
The bullpen hasn't been a train wreck. Like that's just been my cop-out answer the last couple of years when I've been watching the Phillies, and when I haven't, I can just always be like, oh, the bullpen sucks, and I'm right. And this year I have been watching the Phillies, and the bullpen doesn't suck. And the only thing that ever stands out to me is I'm very jaded by the infamous Odubel jumping attempt from a couple weeks ago where he was that was just maybe one of the worst defensive plays you'll see all season. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was
Maybe literally maybe even ever. Like it reminded me when I saw it then. I didn't know what it reminded me of until last night. It looks like the little kids at the home run derby trying to catch 110-mile-an-hour rippers from Pete Alonso. That's what it looked like.
Good.
That's what it reminded me of in the moment, and I didn't piece it together until last night.
That's good stuff.
I got some recency bias with Odubel on the brain here. He probably hasn't been like, if you want to just look at pure statistics, it's probably one of the kids, right? But just what's ingrained in my mind is the photoshops of Odubel doing Jumpman and just not being anywhere close to the ball. And yeah, so that's my answer. It's probably not right, but you asked and you shall receive.
So I mean, I got 3. So I'll use at least one, and then I might come back for a couple depending on banners. But you know what? I'm just gonna go with the one that's personal to me, and it's the worst timed one because he just had a great series and a half. But it's JT Real Muto.
Oh, not who I thought it would be.
There are 2 more, but JT's the one that I really can't stand. I was at Citizens Bank Park with my buddy the other night, and it was a Braves game that you could just tell they were going to lose from the beginning. I spent innings 6 through 9 arguing with the 2 guys next to us about JT Real Muto. This guy was wearing a JT Real Muto jersey, just spouting out pop time stats and how great he is compared to other catchers in the MLB. And my friend was being a little bit more mean than I was because I don't like, getting all in the face of guys who are rooting for the same team as me. But what a freaking loser, man. Like, all these people in their number 10 Real Muto jerseys, best catcher in baseball. Oh, thank you, Fandemic crew, for getting this guy back. It's ridiculous, man. JT Real Muto, as of last week, and now a lot has changed since that last week, I'll be honest, but he's the 21st best OPS out of all catchers who have had at least 100 plate appearances. And
what's his OPS right now?
I'm not sure. I mean, I looked at this last week.
He did some pre-research. He was ready. He came in here with an agenda tonight.
I came in with an agenda when he made comments about missing the Blue Jays series, about saying he didn't care about the money. So I got angry.
Not the money, a little bit of money.
He didn't know how much money he was making.
Right. That's
and then it reminds us all. Oh yeah, like one series for you is what? $250,000 to be the 21st best catcher in baseball? Because, gents, I really don't give a rat's ass about his pop time. I do not. There are 29 other catchers in the MLB. Like he throws out 20 guys a year. In the grand scheme of an MLB season, that's nothing. And he gets paid $20 million.
I think that might be a little low. I'm all for letting you loose here, Josh. 20 sounds a little low for the course of a full season.
bet it's not above 35. And we can check that in a minute, but I bet
30 to 40 seems like a more realistic range.
All right, we can check back. But the point I'm making here is he gets paid $20 million. The median salary for an MLB catcher is around $4 or $5 million, and he's not even good at that position. I had to spout that, so that's it. I'm done with that, JT. Look, man, I hope I'm wrong. I was looking pretty damn wrong in that Marlins series, so I hope it continues. But wow, I'm really fed up with JT. So soapbox. I will step off. Banners, you can take the floor.
Well, his OPS is a paltry 722, which is if your OPS is anywhere for it's six, even 670 is you're making a very good case to get sent down to the minors. 722 is not great from the quote unquote best catcher in baseball, which is, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole right now.
Yeah, nobody's saying that anymore. Nobody's saying
that. They're not even close. But my least valuable player is going to be a tie between Eflin and Suarez.
Wow.
Because this is just it's classic. It's classic. Oh, these guys are going to be they're going to be our number 4, number 5 starters, but they're going to pitch like a number 3. Not even close, dude. That's all we heard about both of them. This is the 4th year in a row that we've heard that Zach Eflin, this is going to be his breakout year. I'm sorry, boss. You got chronic knee issues. Either get a knee replacement at 27 or admit you're probably a reliever and that doesn't fit your pitching style. So sorry, boss. Reality is reality. And Suarez, I like it's coming to fruition that it was just lightning in a bottle last year where he was just on a tear. He's a soft tosser. He's probably a decent 5-starter if he can stay healthy for a full year. I mean, he's gotten unlucky with COVID this year and this, that, and the other thing, but like, I don't know. You're in the third wild card spot. I'm done with excuses. I really don't want to hear that we're waiting on Zach Eflin's knee soreness.
Right.
So Ranger Suarez has COVID for the second time. I don't care. I'm sorry. Like I know these players are people first, but like at the same time, you can't really make that argument because one of your players who his whole arbitration case, the whole big media flare up that happened 2 years ago in his arbitration case for JT Realmuto was about resetting the catcher's market and raising the minimums and resetting the market for the catcher position. And then you have him come out with a completely tone deaf statement and say that he didn't even know how much money he was going to not make for 2 games. That's completely tone deaf. Like if you want to, there's a great Phillies prospect guy named Matt Winkleman on Twitter, and he put it in extremely depressing terms. JT Realmuto, the money he missed in 2 games could have paid the salaries for 8 minor league ball players. 8 in the Phillies system. And the Phillies are notoriously bad at paying their minor league players. I have zero sympathy for anybody in the Phillies organization, let alone people who claim in the same sentence that they want to win more than anybody, and then don't. It's just these things are talking out of the side of your mouth, like talking out of both sides of your mouth. It's just you can't make the argument that the pitchers these players are people too. I don't really care. They're people that get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to suck it up. And don't care.
And you think he felt real cool when he said, "You think I'm gonna put that in my body because what Canada tells me to?" Like, I'm gonna let
Canada dictate what I put in my body.
Yeah, he came into that.
Canada's about to run up on JT Realmuto, gun to the head, and say, "Get the fucking shot."
Yeah, that's good old Arkansas boy Jacob Tyler Realmuto speaking, right there. Sue-wee, go Razorbacks. Fucking, you kidding me? Whatever. Spinning back around, next part of the question, biggest surprise. So biggest surprise of this first half Phillies team, Max.
I'm hitting you with the plot twist banners. I'm going the least surprising thing of this Phillies season, and it's something that I laid my head on the guillotine for before Game 1 played, and what was that? Aaron Nola would be an elite pitcher this year.
Check the tape.
Elite. Do you want to hear the numbers, man? Remember when I told you to leave me some numbers?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
In 19 games started, 2 more than Zach Wheeler. And I'm going to use Zach Wheeler for a lot of comparisons here because he is another excellent pitcher and he's the easiest benchmark to use. In 2 more games started, Aaron Nola has pitched 27 more innings total.
Damn.
Wow.
Has only allowed 13 more hits over those 27 innings of differences. He has gotten lit up on home runs. We're going to skip over that. We're not going to talk about that.
He's a home run.
Exactly, yeah. Total number of strikeouts, Nola up on Wheeler by 29.
Ooh.
Strikeouts per 9, Wheeler 9.8, Nola 9.7.
Okay.
And then the 2 big ones for me, well, the 3 big ones, but the 2 ones that really help paint my picture. Nola WAR 3.9 to Wheeler's 2.9, and Nola whip 0.91. 0.91 whip to Wheeler's 1.08.
I didn't even know that.
Isn't Nola leading the NL in strikeouts? Or close to
137. I can check on that for you. I just have the Philly stats up here because
he already has 137 strikeouts.
He sure does. And if he wasn't he's 6-7 on the year. He's 6-7 on the year with a 9.7 K through 9, a 0.91 WHIP, and a 3.13 ERA.
What other Phillies pitchers?
If we average the mean like we like to do with like football, for example, football's it'll regress to the mean one way or the other on a year-to-year basis. If Aaron Nola could just figure out what the phrase regression to the mean stood for, if he could add that to his vocabulary, he'd be, I don't know, 11-6 right now, 11-5, whatever the math adds out to, basically. And he would have been the All-Star game starter, and he would probably be in the league for NL, and maybe not firmly in the league. He very much in contention.
He'd be in the conversation.
So what are those win totals and underlying metrics? What Phillies pitcher does that remind you of?
I mean, this is one of my few bits of Phillies knowledge. This is the Cole Hamill special.
Yeah, this is the Cole Hamill special.
I was a kid. I didn't, I never claimed to be the baseball guy here, right? I knew enough as a middle school and high schooler that when I watched Cole Hamill's play, if that guy got more than 2 runs of support, I was feeling good. But the issue is that it happened once out of every 3 or 4 games, and that's what I've been seeing with Nola for years. Like I said, I put my neck on the guillotine for this guy before the year started. Sure, he might not be vaxxed. Sue me. He's been killing it this year, straight up. So that's been the least surprising thing for me. Wow. I asked you to save the stats for a reason.
That's good, man.
That's crazy. Josh, biggest surprise, or as Max like to say, the least surprising thing.
Yeah, if you want to just go rogue and ignore the script.
No, man, that was. I liked how you did it. I'll take 2 really quick ones. I'll take one, the obvious. It's just Nick Castellanos. Like, what the hell, man? Like, because for me, it was like, okay, Schwarber, that's great. He'll hit a bunch of home runs, maybe. At least I know Castellanos is like a great all-around hitter. And damn, like I was very wrong about that. But the thing for me, honestly, that's most surprising, and I hate to do this to friend of the show, Jack Fritz, but we're seeing Why Not Mick. And it's just very upsetting because I was really high on Mickey Moniak coming into this year, as was everyone else. And it's just surprising how bad he looked.
That injury, man, that's going to be one of the biggest what ifs for the next
couple years. I don't know that it is.
It totally feels like Moniak is on the edge of never really making it. We'll he'll always have that Paul Turner preseason where it's like, are we sure this guy couldn't play? And it's like, no,
Paul Turner.
Just no, he can't.
Not even Quez Watkins. Not even a Quez Watkins.
Quez Watkins made it to the he made it to the league.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not great, but at least.
Oh, true. Okay, I get what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, like not even Quez Watkins. So yeah, those are my 2.
You go so many different ways with this. It's surprising to me that guys like Jurius Familia and Odubel are still on this roster, but I actually do think that neither of them are going to be here come trade deadline.
Ooh, okay.
Banners, I mean, I think yours should be that Girardi's gone, honestly.
I would be lying though, because like my takes previously have been have lined up anything but the. How am I trying to say this? I've been out on Girardi for a while.
No, I know you've been out on Girardi, but you've been saying.
But you were saying that you didn't think they would fire him.
Yeah,
you didn't think they would let him ride
true.
out another year and waste this year.
We've all been out on Girardi.
We could go with Rob Thompson.
That happened so long ago, though.
Yeah, being the next freaking Joe Torre. There was one I had in my mind. Let me see. I could go. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go Dominguez. Dominguez returning, with honestly more life, because this was supposed to be like the future back end arm, but he used to throw a flat 4-seamer. It was 2 pitches, maybe 3, but he came back with a sinker at 99 out of nowhere. He came back throwing a sinker, and then the fastball, the straightaway 4-seamer, had more cut to it. So like he came back with more velocity, more consistent velocity. With,
that's what I was gonna say, it's the consistency.
Yeah, with better looking shape to those pitches. Instead of just having a flat 4-seamer, he can cut it or sink it. It's just good to have Dominguez back because, I mean, honestly, Alvarado has been one of the best 3 relievers in baseball for about 2 weeks now. That nobody's talking about it.
Damn All-Star break.
I know. So I mean, the back end of Bradhan, Dominguez, and Alvarado has been pretty lights out lately. Which is,
I'll cut you off. I forget who they were playing. It was a week or 2 ago, and Dominguez, I think he had a 1-run lead, and eventually they get to, I think, 1 ounce, bases loaded, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And he got out of it, and he was pumped. He was so pumped, and that was like, obviously that moment in and of itself doesn't show how he's evolved as a pitcher, but like seeing that from a guy, it's like I made it. Like I made it back. Like I'm here to stay. Like that's what it felt like. Maybe this guy will crush my dreams in the next 2 months, but like that totally felt like he was a different player than what I've seen the last, I guess, 2 years.
Yeah, give me the juice.
He hasn't been playing all.
How can you not be romantic about baseball?
Oh boy, a lot of ways. Let's see. Second half hot take. Last question on these But yeah, no. Last part of this question about these Phillies. So Max, second half hot take, real quick.
Let Josh go first. I need to stew on this.
Whoa,
Josh is resident hot take guy.
That's true.
I need to get my stuff ready.
Sticking to my guns, whether it's in the bullpen, whether it's in the rotation, second half is Ranger Suarez revenge tour. I saw some good signs, Banners. I know. I watched the first half too, but towards the end of the first half, I saw signs I liked from Ranger.
Max A million.
All right, I got one for you. Nick Castellanos will be the NL August Player of the Month.
Wow, that's a great one.
Love that. Love that for us. I do. I'm going to say the Phillies finished the season in the second wild card spot in the NL.
Ooh, that is kind of hot.
I'm going to go second wild card spot.
That's
second one. What's
medium.
that, Josh?
That's the stove on the medium. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not ready to fully blow the top off yet.
I like that heat. I like that amount of heat.
Yeah, we set to simmer. Let's see. I talked about it a little bit. I alluded to it. Rob frickin' Thompson, man, sees the topper, as they call him, as the boys call him, as the what do they call him? The daycare, as the daycare likes to refer to Rob Thompson. How different is this Phillies season if the season had started under Topper? Josh.
You know, I think it might be worse, honestly. And
Agreed.
I know that sounds crazy. Really, I thought I'd get ostracized for this, but I think maybe we're all thinking the same logic, and let me know if you agree. But their common theme since 2018 has been they've shown hot flashes, they've shown cold flashes, but the one common consistency has been absolute failure in August and September. And while obviously those months are still to come, I'm knocking on wood heavy right now, boys, but it almost feels as if they got a lot of their August and September conundrums out of the way with Girardi, and I feel like they have extra life now with Topper that maybe would have started falling on deaf ears a little bit sooner, but since he didn't get instated as the manager until later in the year, I really believe his gives you a little extra juice longer into the year. Does that make sense? It's kind of hard to get my logic out. I don't know what you two are going for, but I'm curious because I expect some disagreement.
No, honestly, sorry, I'll just jump in here really quick because I don't have too much to add. I totally agree with you. To me, he is like the first thing that popped to my mind was the Raiders situation last year with Rich Bisaccia, right? A guy that's been in the game for 30 years is definitely not the guy you're going to hire when you're doing your head coaching interview, right? Or your manager interview in baseball's case, right? Like he is just not like the sexy new up and coming thing. He doesn't have the pedigree for a guy his age, excuse me. But what he is one of the boys. He knows how to interact with everyone on a human basis. And for me personally, like I've always thought that's how you get the most out of people. Like even if you look back through all the great coaches throughout any great sport, even if some of them were assholes or just like guys were known for having bad tempers, Bobby Knight or someone like maybe not Jimmy Johnson, but maybe someone like Parcells, right? Like those guys might be assholes, but every single guy who has played under them always talked about he's such a good person. He always asks about how my family's doing, stuff like that, right? You have to connect to the guys that you're supposed to be, leading on a personal level. And I think Girardi just didn't do that. Girardi was just kind of like, I don't know. He just seemed like he was there. Like he was a warm body to fill the manager's spot.
Yeah.
It feels like Philly Rob is more like, all right, boys, we're going to win this. We're going to sweep the Marlins and we're going to get chickies after. All right. I hope you boys are hungry. Like that's just the kind of guy he is. He's not the kind of guy that would ever be considered for a head coaching or, a head managerial spot, but he has the knowledge and he has the people skills to excel should he ever stumble into the position.
And so I don't have too much to add to that. What I'll say is Rob is too relaxed to start a season that way. Okay. You need something. Philly Rob is the type of manager that is perfect to relax and give you the FU mentality. But to do that, you need something to relax from. You know what I mean? You can't start down here. You need to start up here and then end up right here. And Girardi was just enough tight butthole to not trust the young guys and also be super weird to the veterans. And like, it just put the club in a weird space. He gets gone and Philly Rob has just been riding the coattails, being the bench boss. He's literally, his job for so many years was, hey, be the player guy, be the player, like the player's coach. You're here to just be the boy. So he comes in and just goes, nah, F it. We're good. Let's just go do this.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
One other thing that I want to point out really quick before we move on, I could be totally off on this. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts. It feels like he's much more willing to deviate from whatever the script says.
Well, Max, I was going to
make our script. Like,
yeah.
You know, if the analytics say it's 52% to do this, Girardi's like 52 is a bigger number than 48. I'm doing.
Yep.
I was gonna say, like, from like a baseball perspective, kind of is also like Girardi kind of walked so Thompson could run, and like in the sense that Girardi sucked at managing the bullpen, and Thompson was like, well, I saw everything that didn't work, now let me try it, and like I feel like the bullpen management under Rob Thompson absolutely night and day.
Yeah, it's it really is just. It's not purely gut because Philly Rob still does, but it's definitely better.
No high leverage Familia. It's really not rocket science.
He still does use Familia more than I would like, though, which is just like I'm really upset. I know it's because he had options left, but I'm upset that the right-handed pitcher that got sent down or DFA'd was Appel and not Familia. I would like to see Familia just outrighted and Appel be up here to stay because I like what he has. Also, Jojo Romero, the Red Bull crushing lunatic, is back as of 3 days before the All-Star break. So that's it's a good lefty to add to the bullpen as well. Let's see. Executive decision. Which one are we going to toss out? I'm going to toss out the title one because we got training camp coming up, boys. And this is one I want to touch on real quick because we've done this in a few forms and fashions, but with training camp coming up on us, I mean, really it snuck up on me quick, dude. You guys got to tell me, and I'm going to come to you, Josh, first. Going into training camp, what is the thing you are most focused on? So Jesus, how many storylines? You got to pick one. All right, I don't want 1A, 1B, 1C. What is the one thing you're most focused on?
All right, well, I'll start by telling you what I'm least focused on. And that's Jalen Hurts. Because everybody and their mama is going to be finding articles, finding spins, and finding reports about how Jalen Hurts did in training camp. And I say, I will see you on week 1 if you want to talk to me about Jalen Hurts. Because you fellas, you know it. There was a Jacob Media report for D Gun, and people are still talking about it today. And I'm just so sick of all this smoke. There's too much freaking smoke. You know, so I think that everyone needs to take a freaking chill pill about the Jalen Hurts training camp reports. What I am most interested in during training camp, however, is kind of in that area, and it's about Devontae Smith. I want to see how Devontae Smith does against a new and improved Eagles secondary and as wide receiver number 2. Without a doubt, with this team this year, that's like just the most excited I am about this team. Like, sure, I'm excited about the defense and the secondary and blah, blah, blah. I am most excited to see about how our golden goose first-round draft pick receiver does this year with a year in the NFL, A.J. Brown next to him, and it's when you get to those joint practices is when those wide receiver reports get really fun. And I will preface it by saying we all remember the Jalen Reagor video. It was against J.C. Jackson last year, right? So let's not all lose our minds about anything, but I am certainly most excited about wide receiver and especially Devontae Smith this training camp.
It's very funny you mentioned that video because that video is the personification of why I don't give a damn about basically anything offense related until maybe we get to joint practices. For me, the main thing that I'm going to be focusing on at least off the jump is basically how does the defense shape? As far as I'm concerned, we have no starting linebacker right now. We have 1.5 vacant safety positions, essentially. Cornerback, thankfully, don't have to worry about that. And it seems like the D-line is mostly straightened out. But there are a lot of, there's going to be some key position battles in terms of, like, you don't see this in the NFL a ton, like, pure, if you perform the best in minicamp, and not minicamp, training camp, and preseason games, you have a legitimate path to becoming the game one first play of the season starter. You don't see that in the NFL very rare. Like maybe like one spot on the starting 22 between both sides of the ball per team per year kind of deal. And for me, I feel like the Eagles have 2 linebacker spots and a safety spot to fill.
So wait, let me just butt in because I'm curious. I've been wondering myself. Do you think anyone like TJ Edwards, because you're white, you don't think either of those guys, or like at least one of them, is locked in to start?
I think White is.
I honestly, I kind of don't. I really do not know who is going to be considered our what pecking order the linebackers will be, and I really don't know right now. It feels, like I said, in preseason, it always feels like there's at least some sort of vague idea, but I can't recall.
Right.
I can't recall the Eagles ever in my lifetime just like basically fully vacating a position group and rebuilding it from the ground up. Essentially, like, yes, Edwards is here from last year, but other than that, it's wide open. And Edwards is certainly not like, he's not a lockdown guaranteed going to be the guy. I don't, at least in my opinion, from what I've seen. So I think that's really interesting. Also, there have been talks about maybe the Eagles are going to change defensive formation.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
That's where I was going to go.
Probably going to a 3-4.
They go hand in hand, right? Because the people
yeah.
you choose to be your starters are going to largely depend on what kind of scheme you run. So they kind of go hand in hand for me.
I just whatever. I don't even want to get into how dumb that is, but whatever.
I feel there's going to be some Vikings like predisposition,
All football is a history study of who your mentor is. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous that people don't see that. It's crazy how people call Bill Belichick and all these people, and we talk about coaching trees so much, but then we just assume that people can just break away and do their own thing as if that happens on a regularity if your name's not Bill Belichick and Sean McVay and whatever. It's crazy to me, but whatever. I'll let Jonathan Gannon have a great time with that. I want to see how much Miles Sanders is catching the ball. I want to see how much they're scheming him into the passing game, because that's going to tell you a lot about this offense. If he is getting warmed up to catch the ball, I mean, it might not even be. Let me rephrase that. I want to see how much the running backs are catching the ball, because I don't think Miles Sanders is going to be. I think Miles Sanders is going to repeat the same year last year. It's crazy. I really don't think he's going to be a great running back. I want to see if like Kenny Gainwell catches the ball, because that's going to tell me. It's going to tell me how much they're actually going to lean into a passing game, and I'm going to save that hot take. I'm going to save that one.
Please do.
Let it simmer.
I'm going to let them put that one on low, put it on the back burner, see what happens to it. But yeah, I'm watching the running backs. I want to see how much this offense gets opened up, especially in joint practices, to kind of see how they float the check downs, the bubble screens, and the wheel routes from the running backs. See if they like what they're seeing from that.
I want to circle back just real quick, because I think I forgot. You say Miles Sanders reminded me of another guy who we treat like he's really good, but he is a little young and he's a little unproven. And I'm actually really curious about Dallas Goedert going through a start to finish season without Zach Ertz in front of him.
Good for you.
And I've always liked Dallas Goedert. I've always been singing his praises, like, give him a chance. And now I'm like, shit, man. Like, you had some highs, you had some lows after Zach Ertz left. I really want to see what it's like front end to back end.
Still a lot of injuries there too.
Yeah, man. I'm not doubting. I just think I was like exuding confidence in Goddard at this point last year, and like, not that he was bad or anything. It's just I'm tampering my expectations, and now I'm just genuinely curious.
He was tight end too this time.
You're just asking him to show his work. That's fair.
Yeah, literally.
I get it. That's fair. Those are the things we'll be watching for as training camp opens up, and to believe me when I say there is going to be a lot more things that we talk about, even day one of training camp, because that is just how the media cycle goes.
Yep.
How it goes. So without further ado, let's get into our second half. Word on the street. You guys know how it goes, but the other people might not. I'm going to give you a sentence and a blank. You fill in that blank, complete that sentence. All right. First one. Max. Kyle Schwarber's home run derby showing versus Albert Pujols was blanky. Blank.
I'm gonna take the high road here. I'm gonna say it was very touching of Kyle Schwarber to pay tribute to a legend of the game.
All right. Josh.
Horrendously on brand. Not for Kyle Schwarber, but just
the Phillies.
Everything about it felt so on brand. Like, it felt half rigged. Schwarber's like popping them up, grounding them out, and how can he not think like, okay, here comes the month-long home run drought that we blame the Derby on, and then like in between bats, he's like, oh, I suck. Like, like I'm sure you guys heard that. Like, it just everything about it was so on brand. Like, of course he would just lay an egg and let Pujols go on.
I don't even have words for it. I don't know. Whatever. It's the home run derby. I don't have a word for it. I just want to say I'm really glad the world got to see who Julio Rodriguez was, because that kid is fantastic. Second one, come right back around to Max. The MLB All-Star Game should have blank on the line. This is a big one, and I want to see where you guys land. Max, have blank on the line.
I should have charity money on the line. I've been
I love that.
very open and vocal about hating the fact that the MLB places any kind of weight on who wins their All-Star Game. It's stupid. It's plain stupid. I don't understand why they tried to reinvent the wheel with if there's no direct way to do head-to-heads, just the team with the better record in the regular season is the higher seed.
It was kind of spicy though.
It's quite literally that simple.
It was kind of spicy. Josh, are you? What it should have blank on the line.
It should be for home field advantage in the World Series.
Okay.
Pretty spicy,
dude. It was literally like it's so fun, man. And baseball is one of those sports where like home field advantage really isn't the be all end all. Like you'd rather have it than not have it. But wasn't it 2 years ago where the away team won every game in the World Series or something like that? Like this isn't the NBA.
The Nationals Astros won, I think.
Yeah. I can't remember.
They at least went away. I forget who was Game 7 because obviously the Nationals won Game 7 that year. But I do remember the first 6 games were all away teams.
Yeah. Like first of all, away teams win in baseball like all the time, especially in the playoffs, especially in the World Series. And like it's just such a fun element. It adds so much juice to the game. Like I remember like my dad keeping me up when I was younger to watch that one game that went into crazy extra innings, and I had to put myself to bed, and that never happened before. Tonight it's like I could watch it, I could not watch it. Like I'm going to watch it because I'm a sad sack, but it doesn't matter. Like give me juice, give me something on the line, give me guys really going after. And Max, you are you're the more popular camp, I'm pretty sure. Like I was listening to some podcasts and stuff today, and I heard people making fun of it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, see, like what an idiot, what a joke that was. And I'm like, really? Like that was freaking awesome for me. So I get the idea with charity money, but like I'm just too selfish. If the money's not going to me, I don't care.
I'll tell you what, I'm not like the others. I don't hate the idea of home field advantage in the World Series, but I think that takes away from one of the like baseball needs every reason it has right now to do well in the regular series. You know what I mean? You can't really take one away from it, which is my only argument. To add to that case, I would say bonus money for every player on the winning team to convince more players to go to the All-Star break. Because, and I know that's an unpopular opinion. Like we just praised Zach Wheeler for taking time off to rest his arm, be with the family, everything like that. But I'm thinking more of a holistic view right now because baseball needs all the fans it can get. Baseball needs to highlight Mike Trout. It needs to highlight Shohei Ohtani. I just said, I'm so glad the world got to see who Julio Rodriguez was because that kid is a young phenom. And of course, even better, he's a person of color. Like this needs to be an effort on baseball. And of course, the idiots at MLB, they move the they move the draft they moved the futures game to the same night as the MLB draft when they could have just pushed the first round of the draft to the next day instead of highlighting the futures game when there's no other baseball games. They put it up against Boston. They put it up against Red Sox Yankees instead of just giving it its own day on Sunday when you didn't have any other competition, including your own competition, and highlight some of the guys who are going to be the next faces of baseball.
Banners, and my natural instinct as a baseball fan is like, I probably still wouldn't watch. And then I'm like sitting here and I'm like, Josh, you listen to a betting podcast about the freaking All-Star game. Like you would have bet on the futures game and you would have loved it and you would have learned this guy and
Dude,
tied myself to it.
The MLB execs were in that meeting like, damn, we're getting killed by checks notes. Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'll tell you what, dude. The futures game. There are kids out here, 20 years old, hucking 100 miles an hour as starters. You know what I mean? Like Eric Miller came in for the Phillies, throwing to Logan O'Hoppe, the Phillies catcher. Like it's just stuff like that. Like that the MLB should be highlighting. You know what I mean? It needs to do a better job marketing itself and getting it out of its own way, because Rob Manfred is not only public enemy number one, he's his own number one enemy.
Just like think about like, and I know like the way the MLB works is so not like all the other sports, but just imagine like the NBA futures game. Like they literally have one, and it's pretty watched, or at least watched much more than the MLB one is. So
you know why? Because it's part of the NBA scheduling for their All-Star weekend.
Yeah,
nothing else on TV at the same time.
Yeah, like if I was to tell you the guys like the name like Brady House, like Brett Beatty, like these are some of the biggest prospects in the game that nobody, like Zach Veen, like you got these, like people should know these names. These are 20-year-old kids.
Outfielder.
What's that?
Rockies outfielder.
Yes, Zach Veen is a stud. There's
national shortstop Brady House.
Yes, Brett Beatty's Brett Beatty's the Mets, Brady House is the Nats. But like, and even in the draft, like the Phillies drafted Carl Crawford's son. Luke Collier's son went the pick after to the Reds. Jackson Holiday, Matt Holliday's kid went number one. There was another one too. Andrew Jones. Andrew Jones's kid went number two.
I would love to have seen like an Onion graphic in the middle of all the drafts, like breaking 100% of MLB draftees have fathers, or something like stupid like that. Because every post I saw was like, "Oh, this person's son got drafted," and I was ready for like something silly.
Like I went through. I did like
really got me feeling old.
I was listening to a podcast, and I forget which one it was. I'll have to go back and source this, because they did a really cool exercise. They went through all the social media accounts of every major league team, or every professional league. The MLB has 18 million followers across all social media platforms. Does anybody want to guess how much the NBA has?
Probably 500 or 600 million.
Yeah,
it's over 120 something million. So they added 100 million followers to the MLB.
A lot of people.
Meanwhile, we're watching Shohei Ohtani is better than Babe Ruth. Mike Trout is the best baseball player to ever live by the age, or like of his age, by the numbers. Like it's a crime. It really is a crime. So that's my soapbox.
Hey man, I enjoy it. Yeah.
Nobody cares what I enjoy.
No debating this. We have to move on. What if the All-Star game was just for home field advantage in Game 7?
Oh, that's spicy.
Oh, that's good.
Might have to get on the line with Bud.
That's good, because that's all that matters anyway.
Spicy.
Yeah. And there's a lot of times where it won't even come into play.
Right, that's what I was going to say. If it gets there, it gets there.
It's a perfect mix of like, hey, you should tune in, because if it does go to Game 7 this year, you're going to miss the prequel. You're not going to understand why we're playing.
I'm a huge fan of that, Max.
Let's go. We'll start the petition.
That's big. That's big. We're going to cut that out.
We're going to get that. We're going to start. We're going to make moves.
That's big. All right. Well, that's it for us. We got an All-Star game to go watch, apparently. Oh wait, no. Hey. Real quick, are we doing this? Are we doing our top 5?
I actually got excited for it.
Let's bang through this. We're doing our top 5 summer things.
Top 5 summer things. My bad. I Banners, I get it, man. You're like
got set up for failure right there.
You're like Ron Burgundy reading a teleprompter. That's my fault.
I read what's in front of me. It's a curse. What top 5 are we doing?
It's top 5 of sports plays, not specific plays like the Immaculate Reception or anything like that.
Done.
Top 5 plays that can happen in sports, and you can be as specific as you like. This doesn't just have to be touchdown, home run. You can get open to interpretation, as I usually do with mine.
All right, let me go last then, since I was set up for failure.
Yeah, we got it. Josh, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I can take it first. 5-1, of course. That's the only way you do a list. Number 5, it has lost its luster, but I just love the read option, man. I like when it first came to the NFL. I immediately thought this was going to take over the NFL, and it hasn't taken over the NFL. But like Jalen Hurts is,
I thought we were doing like sports plays. Are we doing like what? So define sports play to me. I was thinking like memorable moments.
No. Oh no!
Okay. Not specific plays.
Touchdowns, home run, like stuff like that. Home run.
Oh, all right. We're going X's and O's here. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But you can be a little more specific. Like for example, just to cut Josh off, my fifth one that I have. Actually, I don't really have a good example that wouldn't go up my list.
I'll just rattle them off.
But instead of touchdown, you could do like 1 yard quarterback sneak touchdown.
I
If you wanted to get
Got it.
Number 4 for me, and you don't see this in the major leagues, but calling a lot of games and being a youth travel baseball player like myself, it's the first and third delayed steal. You run to second, you get the throw to second, maybe even getting a rundown, and the guy from third bolts home, never gets old. Number 3, and it might, like, in my heart of hearts, this might be my number 1, but it just never happens, so it has to be 3, an unscripted lateral. Like, not a part of a play, like it's a kickoff or it's an interception, and all of a sudden a guy looks behind him or to his left, and he's like, oh boy, we can get a bunch more yards if I just pitch it back. Love the unscripted lateral.
The next evolution of football. It's going to happen one day. Intentional laterals.
Number 2, another one. All right, number 2 from a strategy standpoint is my number 1, but it's not sexy, so it's number 2. It is the squeeze play. You will not find a bigger advocate for the squeeze play in baseball than Josh Safran.
I got to take it off my list.
The amount of times that I have to watch baseball teams get a guy on third and friggin' pop up and strike out, just bunt the ball, get the guaranteed run, especially in these extra innings games with the extra innings rule, just take the run, man. Number 1, it is my favorite play in all the sports. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's the pick six in NFL football. There is nothing more electric. There is nothing that will throw an entire game on its heel more than the pick six. And I will give you my the example. I don't think the Eagles win the Super Bowl if P-Rob doesn't get a pick six in that NFC Championship. It turned that game completely on its end. And I don't know, man. I just think the pick six is the biggest momentum shifter. And like there's nothing like a pick six in any sport where you go from not only are you playing defense, but you just scored a touchdown on a play that should score the other team a touchdown. Love the pick six. Digits, take it away.
Josh, that was well done. You absolutely bodied that.
Honorable mention, fullback dive.
Okay.
All right, so 5-1 for me, and I might get a little scrambled here because I have mine in a very, very poor order. I'm going to start with number 5, home run. Chicks dig the long ball. It was last night totally inspired my idea for this top 5.
Good.
But just every time they would cut out to that camera that's like, way above home plate, and you would just see the ball just sailing out center field. I'm like, damn. Like, the good old fashioned bar conversation is like, oh, I could score a touchdown on a 1 yard run. I could do, I could make a basket in an NBA game if you gave me enough space and enough attempts. Not a single amateur person can go yard in an NBA. It's just not possible. It's just not possible. You can get lucky for a basket in the NBA. You could get the best blocking in the world and run in a 1 yard touchdown. You will never, ever in a million years go yard in an MLB stadium if you're just a regular dude. Never. Okay. Moving on. Number 4, a long free kick goal in soccer.
That's a great pull.
To go a set piece.
Set pieces in general, but specifically long free kicks where it's just like the commentator's like, surely he won't give it a go from here. Oh, it's Ronaldo. He scored. Just one.
He has one.
And it's just talk about an explosion. It goes from nothing to everything.
Exactly. Number 3, I'm going to go special teams touchdown.
Yeah.
Every time there's a special teams touchdown, it's kind of like the long free kick where it hasn't happened until it's like obviously free kick goals and a kick return touchdown. There's about a 15-second difference in how long they take to happen, but like kick return and punt return touchdown aren't happening until you know it's happening. Like it's like, oh, there's 20 people on my screen. Oh my God, my punt returner has passed all of them right now. He's going to score, right? Like that's how it is with a free kick goal. It's like, oh, he's kicking the ball. Oh my God, it's in. Like that's how quickly you realize it. So number 3, I have
the standing up and the go. There's nothing like that one.
Yeah. Exactly. Number 2 is more so based on the sporting merit that it holds.
Okay.
A hole-in-one in golf.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a good one.
Wildly hard to do. Damn near impossible, but just luckily obtainable enough for the average person to be like, I could maybe do that. But there's, you see it so infrequently that it has its own place in I couldn't even tell you the last time a hole-in-one got hit in the professional tour. I feel like it happens once every 5 years randomly.
Yeah.
And then number 1, I couldn't decide which side of the player I wanted, so I'm just going with a buzzer beater in basketball. You can take your pick if you want it in front of the home fans and everyone goes crazy, or you can have your pick if you want it in front of the away fans where that dead quiet strikes over everything except the visiting huddle of people celebrating the game winner. So that's my number 1.
All right, boys, here we go. Number 5, and I love it because I watched number 5, I grew up watching the first player that I really remember doing this was Antoine Winfield Sr., the cornerback blitz. I love me a cornerback blitz, dude, because not only do we not know it's coming, like 75-80% of the time, it completely catches the quarterback and the offensive tackle off guard. And you get, I mean, quarterbacks are big nowadays with the exception of Drew Brees. You get a slot cornerback just freaking nailing some dude right between the pads, man. That's a good one.
That's a head of steam.
That's a good
Number
one.
4, the hidden ball trick.
Wow.
Doesn't happen much.
Great one.
It doesn't happen much, and I'm going to expand this. I'm going to expand this to trickery on the baseball field. We can all think back to the A-Rod. He's running behind the shortstop on the fly ball. I got it, and just dropping it. You know what I mean? Just pure dicking around on the MLB infield. I give me that all day. Number 3, a good coast to coast in hockey. One of them, there's a good example this past year from Connor McDavid where my man just sauced an entire team and a goalie.
I know exactly what play you're talking about, too.
It was really, you had to go back and watch it and be like, dude, was that Wayne Gretzky? He just sauced an entire team and a goalie. Nobody else wanted to be there. It's incredible. Number 2, this one's fun. The unassisted triple play. Everybody think back to Eric Bruntlett, boys.
Yep.
Eric freaking Bruntlett. The unassisted triple play because you're in real time, unless you're there, you kind of have to think through it. You're like, oh, all right, there was 1, there's 2, where's the 3rd? Where do you get there's 3? Yeah, you know what I mean? You got to catch up. You got to work through it. The best part
about that one ended the game too. I think that's just the most.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That was the craziest thing about it. Is that not only did an unassisted triple play happen, it happened to end the game, which just makes it so much more memorable. It's the only unassisted triple play I remember.
Yep, Eric freaking Bruntlett, man. And then number 1. I'm going to narrow it down. I like kick returns, but I got to go punt returns, boys. This is it's oh man. Devin Hester.
It's less frequent and it's a lot it's a lot less telegraphed. Usually with kick returns you can kind of tell, but with punt returns half the time there's a lot of zigzagging and
kick returns are like a plane on a runway. It's kind of like you get a warm up and then it's one straight line and 1 foot in the dirt.
Or it doesn't.
Yeah, it's either 1 foot in the ground and then go if you're making 1 cut. But punt returns are just and I think it's just the nostalgia of Devin Hester, but it's pure magic. It's just it can take so much longer, and it's just the commentary. Go back and listen to some of your favorite punt return touchdowns, and listen to the commentators just the color guys just try and catch up because
the Miracle of the Meadowland.
Exactly.
It's a perfect example, and it will never get old. Even at the end, and Joe Buck gets way too much flack. By the way, that's a separate thing. Not that I'm pro Joe Buck, but he gets too much flack.
I'm pro Joe Buck.
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah, but
he's gotten a lot better over the last.
He's even. I never forget. He goes, still not in, and now he does, or something. He even kind of messes up the last line that was easy because I think he's still oh my, his brain is a little broken from the whole punt return.
It's just I like it's instant gratification. It's holy crap, what did I just watch? And then the other team is the other team's kind of it's demoralizing, but it's also all right, here's the ball back. You couldn't do anything last time. Go for it. It's punt return's classic. It really is. I could have gone either way there with the 1 or 2 with unassisted triple play and punt return.
I copped out and went special teams. I couldn't pick either, so I copped out.
That's fair. I think that counts for
honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Honorable. If you have honorable mentions, give them to me.
Not many. I have surprise onside kick.
That's a good one. Doesn't happen much.
I was a Colts fan then, so.
And then also have the alley-oop just because of how customizable it is. It's seen a lot of evolution over the years. You can go off the backboard. You can throw it in front of you, behind you. Alley-oops in general are always just very hyped to watch. Bonus points if they're over somebody. And I had another one that I didn't write down,
Obviously, Hail Mary's got to be somewhere around here.
Yeah, that's a good shout. That's a good shout, Hail Mary. Just that suspense.
Last honorable mention for me, running back pass. Love a good HB pass.
It's good.
The old Madden special.
Yep.
Trying to think. Yeah, you know what? I think those count as our tap outs, boys, huh?
Yeah, sounds good to
Yeah,
me.
I don't have anything to tap out about.
I got Kershaw under 0.5 strikeouts today for shits and gigs.
That's a good one. That's a good prop.
Yeah.
Plus 200.
That's a good prop. I like that. All right, boys. Well, hey, if you didn't catch us here live, you can catch us wherever you get your podcast. Let us know if we're not there. Catch us next time because training camp is about to hit, and that means the sports world is going to be on fire because people are tired of only hearing about baseball. I'm not one of those people, but whatever. Training camp is back, so get with us next time because there's going to be a lot of storylines to follow. We might have a special guest come on. We may not. You're going to have to find out. But we're brought to you by My New Philly, where something's always new and everything's always Philly. Go Phil.